Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Transformation, radical change. Even in the Bible, they recognize that not through prayer, divine intervention, or miracles that true transformation occurred, but through the renewing of the mind. Transformation starts here. I've experienced a transformation in my life, and I would like to share with you 5 keys that can apply to yourself, your business, or your family. To fully understand my transformation, it's important to know where I started. I was born July 20th, 1980, and 21 years later, I got this tattoo to prove it. Tattoos represent the ultimate transformation. This crap not only marks my zodiac sign, but it came to represent the walls that I put up in order to protect my insides. Next was this tattoo from Africa. I've traced my ancestors to this region in Western Africa, home of the Ashanti tribe. The Ashanti were known for creating an early written language known as the Adrinka, a series of symbols expressing anything from patience to love, sacrifice, and mercy. The one I was drawn to was this, Sissy Waraban, meaning I can transform myself. You see, back then I was fascinated by the concept of self-transformation. I was a completely different person, a nomadic hippie, the dreaded community organizer, living above a bar, working on campaigns, and living a carefree lifestyle. 8 years ago, I was literally hugging a tree, and now here I am, a CEO of an oil and gas company, speaking in front of 147 of my closest Trump supporters. Talk about a transformation. After working to elect Obama to his first term, I decided it was time to come home and work for the family business. Soon after, my friend Phil Castellini introduced me to YPO, and instantly I knew this is where I wanted to be. I got involved and signed up to go to a regional conference, a cruise called Deep Dive. This is me at the cruise. There are 3 big differences here. I buy drinks to whoever can name all 3. Anybody? 1, I was a lot smaller. 2, I no longer have a wife. And 3, I lost a whole bunch of money on attorneys and alimony. This is where my transformation begins, and here are the 5 keys that I discovered on this journey. 1, find your motivation. I had a defining moment, a tipping point, in the midst of having the time of my life, eating and drinking everything in sight. One of the resources on the cruise was a cardiologist from the Cleveland Clinic, one of the top cardiologists in the world. During a 30-minute session, he did an assessment and asked me 10 questions, and based on the results, he was able to diagnose that the probability of me having a major cardiac event in 15 years was all but inevitable. I had a 2-year son at home, and I did the math. Would I see him drive, graduate high school, get married, have a child of his own? If I didn't make big changes, the answer was no. Suddenly, the painful reality of the future became much bigger than the immediate gratification of today. Find your motivation. The greater motivation, the greater the odds of success. 2, set a goal and take immediate action. Once my motivation was clear, I made a big-ass, hairy, audacious goal to lose 100 pounds. Immediately, I Googled how to lose 100 pounds. And I found this guy in prison that said all you had to do was 100 squats per day. That's right, I was so motivated that I was listening to a guy in prison. As soon as we got home, I started doing 100 squats every day. It was strenuous but achievable. Each day I had a small victory and prepared me for what was next. The next action I took was calling my friend Steve Hartman, who owned a fitness center in Middletown, dedicated mode. This was a defining moment in my journey. We spoke about my goal and my motivation. We scheduled our first one-on-one meeting at 6 a.m., and he kicked my ass for 30 minutes, every minute I thought about quitting. On the way home, I pulled over on the side of the road and fell to my knees and began puking. It reminded me of that Liquid quote, "I've been driven to my knees upon many occasions by the overwhelming conviction that I had nowhere else to go. Convinced that I would never go back, I looked in the mirror and noticed a tiny muscle. Results. At that moment, I knew that I could do this, and if I stayed consistent over time, I would accomplish my goal. Whenever you set a goal, take steps toward achieving it now. If you have a new business idea, schedule a meeting with your team immediately. You want to remodel your house? Go home tonight and take a sledgehammer to the wall. Whatever it is, harness the advantage of momentum and do it now." My purpose was clear. My plan was set. Now it was time to execute. Becoming dedicated requires deep immersion. Surround yourself with people who have a higher standard than you, peers that will push you, others that have that level of dedication you hope to achieve. For me, this goes back to dedicated, motivated. Every Every day we were in the trenches together, encouraging each other, holding each other accountable, celebrating the victories. I remember during one particular session a couple months after I started, I stepped up to train with the first group, those at the highest level of fitness. We were doing full out sprints and I was killing it, giving my all. Then all of a sudden the motivator calls out, 5 more rounds. I fell to my knees thinking I had no more to give. But before I could finish the thought of quitting, 2 guys picked me up and carried me, then physically pushed me and eventually sprinted beside me. Not only did I get back up, I finished stronger. These guys are now like my brothers. Being surrounded by a strong peer group was important, but sometimes it was just me, myself, and I, especially when I was running. One trick that I used that got me through was incantations. My favorite was, I am a gladiator. It would start as a whisper, I am a gladiator. And with each step, I am a gladiator. It would get louder, I am a gladiator. Each time I wanted to quit, I am a gladiator. And as I saw the finish line coming near, I am a gladiator. Till eventually I whirled with victory as I crossed the finish line, once again falling to my knees, but this time as a champion, as a gladiator. Step 4, inspire someone. I kept up with the program, remained consistent, and the results kept coming in. In 3 months I had lost over 50 pounds. My goal was within sight. Then something happened. People from all over started calling me and telling me how I inspired them. My journey had become bigger than me and were literally thousands of people who were watching me through social media and other networks. And people rooting for myself, for my success, and counting on me to show them that this could be done, so that I knew that their own goals could be achieved. This was an incredible sense of responsibility. To this I took very seriously. I began to help others that were in the situation I was in, at the end of the line with no other hope of turning it back. Giving back to others was the only way I could pay back to what so many others had given to me, and I also served as the force that carried me to my goal. On January 13, 2015, I reached my goal of losing 100 pounds. At my highest point in my life, every day, everywhere I go, every day, someone's telling me how good I looked. I was full of energy. I could do things I never imagined before. Until I went home, things had grown sour between my wife and I. There was no longer any love or connection. And my precious motivation, my beautiful son was stuck in the middle. One night, she came home and took my son and moved out. I had no idea where they'd gone, if he was safe. My world crashed. What followed was a very year-long, very personal, ugly, costly divorce that is easily the most difficult thing I ever done in my life. Even more so is dealing with the idea of my son being taken away from me and moving 2,000 miles away to California. My motivation was gone. To deal with this, I turned back to my old buddies, whiskey and junk food. I self-medicated, and the pain and the weight, little by little, started adding back up, and eventually gained 40 pounds back. Eventually, this past December, we came to a settlement in which I have 40% of the time with my son, where I see him regularly and we FaceTime on a day-to-day basis, and Julie and I are getting along. I am writing a new chapter in my life. So I got back up, dusted myself off, and remembered the steps I took and how I helped so many others and began my comeback. I'm proud to say that I've lost 30 of those pounds and I'm back on track to maintaining a healthy, balanced lifestyle. On our way, there will be many obstacles, roadblocks, easy excuses to get us to stand in our way. But you must get back up. YPO has been a crucial part of this journey. And to be honest, when Courtney called me to ask me to do this, it was a big part of me getting back up. There was no way I was going to stand up for you guys and tell you that I had failed. From the doctor and the cruise, to the support of my forum, to all of you, YPO has been essential to this journey. As I said before, I like to mark special occasion with tattoos. So I thought this would be a great way to mark my next chapter in my life.